If you're Marvin Musquin, can you move away in the points? If you're Eli Tomac, can you move back into the lead? A very important stretch run here for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we have Ryan Dungey here in the booth with us, along with Grant Langston and myself, Jason Wygant, for the call. First 450 moto of the day. Reps are up, gate is down. Tomac for the middle. Had a good jump, but he gets pinched off. Looks like Ken Roczen going to control it. Motorsport.com, whole shot to Roczen on the Honda. Marvin Musquin right there at his hip.
Yeah, Musquin very close, almost nabbed it, but Roczen kept it tight, didn't run quite as wide. Also a good start there for Tomac, and looks like Baggett as well. A lot of the heavy hitters up front soon.
And Tomac up to fourth, headed into the sand boots here, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree. I think with between Marvin and Eli, Ken's obviously going after that overall win. He's really been chasing that, and then if I'm Marvin and Eli, I want to get out and go right now and try to set the tone for the rest of the year.
Baggett off the track in the boots. He handed over third place to Tomac off the side. Looks like he recovered pretty quickly, but that was a critical position. Tomac didn't have to pass him. He just went by. Meanwhile, Roczen trying to control the lead here. Battle is already on here, GL. Let's get close.
Yeah, Tomac, not one to like to sit around and wait for opportunities. If he's got the pace, he's gonna go from lap one. And for Marvin, hey, if you got pressure from this opening lap, it might not be a bad thing that if Eli sneaks by, just figure out where he's making up that ground.
All right, to the bottom of the hill we go. I didn't know we'd see the battle already materialize here about 30 seconds into the race, Ryan.
Yeah, I agree, and I think just be patient at this point. There's still a lot of racing left, and I like Grant's idea. Get behind, even if Marvin does get past, catch up into those lines, see if he's doing anything different than you are, and try to apply it, and towards the end of the race, make it count.
All right, here's the downhill where a lot of passes happened in the first 250 moto. Aaron Plessinger made all his moves to get the lead there. Tomac not able to find anything on Musquin at the moment. Just crazy, though, by the way, that we're even in this scenario to see Tomac no longer sporting the red plate. It almost seems bizarre. He's led most of the season.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, a 35-point swing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You'd never, I mean, when's the last time that happened in the 450?
We always say something could happen, but it usually
never
doesn't.
does. Yeah.
Oh.
We're just hyping it most of the time, but this isn't hype. This is reality. We've got Tomac and Musquin about to have a big battle for second place. Ken Roczen has completed one lap as your leader. Here we go. A little mistake for Marvin. Doors open for Eli. Here we go. He's going to be on the inside of the next corner. Marvin sees it coming, beats him to the spot.
Great recovery from Marvin. Kept it low over that jump, and look at that. Eli squares it up. He'll have a nice arc in this first turn. Will he just, he cuts it back to the inside. Sort of funnels into one line there. Difficult passing spot, but you can bulldog your way through. Oh, and Marvin again, a little sideways.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes here from the 25, so pressure really being applied. We're heading into the whoops. Let's see what they've got.
Yeah, I feel like the track hasn't fully developed yet. It still looks, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's rough, but it's going to get a lot rougher than this too as this race, especially second motos.
And I agree with what you're saying, but also too, I think riders are still exploring, trying to figure out what's the optimal line, because on some of those downhills, it seemed like in practice the inside was working. Now you're seeing some of the guys going back to the outside.
Roczen is gone. He's 3.5 seconds up the road after only a lap and a half. These two are battling hard, pushing each other, but Kenny is disappearing.
I noticed today he was really close in the practice lap times. Closest he's been this far, so assuming he's pretty confident.
Yeah, that's not always Kenny's specialty. Even on race winning days, he didn't always qualify that well.
Yeah, and I think he would say he's not a one-lap guy. He wants to be that 35-plus 2-lap guy, you know, be there through the whole thing. But today, this morning, was impressive.
Wow, he is gone all the way to the top of the hill. Will, what have you heard on the 94?
Same as you guys there, really, that he kind of surprised himself a little bit in practice. He told me that in practice this morning was the best that he'd felt on the bike all year. So what we're seeing now might just be a reflection of that.
Yeah, it's certainly showing right now. And when I talked to him earlier today, he said the main thing really isn't progress with the injury or his fitness. It's trying to make changes to the bike. He feels that that's where his big gains are coming, but he doesn't want to change too much because he doesn't want to show up on race day guessing how the bike's going to feel. So he's kind of stuck. Wants to make changes, but doesn't want to change too much.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, you can't make those drastic changes during the week because racing is different. I mean, the way the track develops and how rough it gets, it's small incremental changes, and I think you're seeing the benefits here.
All right, so Roczen wheeling away right now.
Well, the one thing, keep in mind, too, even though this is Roczen's second season with Honda, it's theoretically a 7th motocross event that he's entered, so not a ton of time, and of course with the injuries, not a lot of testing and stuff behind the scenes, so as you guys were alluding to, sort of caught between a rock and a hard place where you can't make drastic changes.
Oh, big mistake. Muscan lost traction with the back end, lost drive, and Tomac says, thanks, I'll take second, just like that.
Here's where your strategy plays in, Grant.
Yeah, can he follow it?
It looked like he didn't defend immediately, almost like he kind of said, you know what, you've been putting the pressure on me, go by and let me see what I can learn from being behind you.
Okay, so let's see if he can stick with him. Tomac is now free for second, Baggett fourth, Bogle, Nicoletti, Barsha, Pike, Joey Crown ninth. Good ride for him. And 10th place is Cooper Webb right now as we focus in on Tomac. See if he can run down Ken Roxon, who has a 4.2 second lead.
How about Baggett hanging in there as well?
Well, same story of Baggett we've seen so many times, capable, but that mistake early cost him a position. Meanwhile, we're going to show you how Tomac got around Muscan for second here, Grant.
Yeah, it just looks like, and Ryan, you've ridden here more recent than I have, but under that that dirt, there is that hard base, and you see that shiny line, so you obviously hit the base that's slick. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think they were expecting rain, and I don't think they really wanted to rip it up, so in case they did get that rain, but this track is, there are a couple hard base spots, like you just saw. You get on the gas too quick, coming from a dead stop, and all that power into the ground, it just, you don't hook up, you break loose. So
breaking loose is just
yeah.
Barsha trying to get Bogle. This would be for fifth. That was, well, ultra aggressive. Whoa, back! Bogle comes right back. I don't know if I've ever seen a pass there. Phil Nicoletti trying to take advantage as well. Okay, now it's going to be a suicide mission down this hill because these guys are both motivated for the spot.
Barsha's not going to take that lightly. How about Nicoletti?
Phil! Wow!
He's like, hey, I saw what the 250 guys were doing. Let me give that a shot.
And now Pike almost comes together with his teammate Bogle on the Auto Trader Yoshimura Suzuki. So Bogle just lost 3 spots in one section. Things are happening in a hurry for him.
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, for Bogle, since he's come back, he's had some good starts, but hasn't quite had the pace to really battle with the front guys. You know, at least sometimes when you can run that pace for a certain amount of time, the race fitness comes, but Bogle just hasn't seemed like doesn't look like he's just attacking the track and going all out. He looks a little timid.
Joey Crown here, the 95, former Kawasaki prospect of the amateurs, races up in Canada now, but when he gets weekends off, he's trying to make a name for himself back in the U.S. Kid originally out of Michigan, backed by Club MX, which is a popular riding facility down in South Carolina, and he is putting some serious heat on Bogle right now. Crown trying to take away 8th place. Good ride by Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. I seen today watching practice. I watched Bogle. He had a little get off in the back section there and didn't quite get up quick either. And I'm not making excuses for him, of course. But I don't think he's been racing long enough to kind of get that confidence flowing yet. And he
did the whole moto. But at the times where he needed to bust something out, he was able to do it. He needed it here, and he did it. We're about to have a battle.
Well, the other thing, too, is we have seen Eli, when he gets into that beast mode, he is more likely to have that big mistake. So there's that fine balance for him of pushing hard without putting yourself in a situation to jeopardize your point standings.
It's not over until it's over type of. I will say with Ken, I'm really impressed, even what he's been through and how he's not afraid to fail. You know, he's got out front in so many of these races and got the whole shot and just kind of took off. Of course, but that's a lot of mental strength for a rider, especially what he's gone through and been through, and all these other guys. And so I'm really impressed with that aspect, just knowing what that's like as a racer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point. And then you look at his mechanic, Oscar, put on the pit board smooth. There was no panic. I think, if anything, he likes to try and keep his rider, knowing Ken's personality, more calm, more like, not, hey, he's coming, or pick up the pace. You just saw him say smooth. Like, basically, think about, do what you do. Ken's been really good this season about not making big mistakes, but just being smooth and licking his wounds. You know, if the guys got around him, he took a third, he took a fourth, and I think also very mature way of riding.
Yeah. The focus is on him.
Yeah,
riding his own race right now. Tomac took the big swing on it to get the gap down and went back to a 2:14 after logging to 2:12. So now kind of engaging in battle. And Roxon's proven pretty hard to pass this year. He's definitely had some good battles with Tomac. See Marvin and Baggett lurking back there in 3rd and 4th. Yep.
Yeah, if these two start battling or holding each other up, that could make things really interesting as we near the halfway point of this moto. Fortunately for someone like Roxon, even though I do believe his fitness is pretty good, at the moment. Probably not where you'd want it, but still good. I'm sure he's quite happy that it's not as hot as it's normally been here at Millville.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 different battles to watch. You see the 2 KTMs battling 3rd and 4th, Muscan and Baggett. And then the leaders, of course, you've got Roxon on the Honda HRC machine and the Monster Cowie of Tomac right behind him. Can he actually stretch it just a little bit through those hills? Tomac trying to come back on him now. And those 2 lines worked out beautifully. Tomac got right back on him, so that worked out well for Eli, Ryan. Here he comes.
Yeah, searching line choice. Never want to follow the guy. I was a little bad for that. I should have gone out of the zone and got different lines, and even if I lost time and just explored a little bit, but can't follow because you're just going to get stuck into a guy's pace.
All right, here we come toward the finish line jump, and it is wheel to wheel. We've been talking about it all year. The battles between Roxon and Tomac are back. They've had some great ones through the years, both 250 and 450 class. Let's see what happens today. Brian Krantz with the pit board out for Eli. Oh, this is on now.
Yeah, it kind of looked like maybe Ken is just trying to pick it up a little bit. Maybe feeling comfortable with the pace he's going, figuring, you know what, I got a little bit more in the tank. Because he really looks like he's trying to sort of match the pace with Tomac at the moment. But yeah, look at Tomac.
I'm sure through the pit board too, right? You got the times, one on the top, or Ken's on the top, Eli's on the bottom. So you're aware of like, okay, need to drop it down a little bit here, or what you got to do.
All right, into the sand whoops we go. Tomac trying to get a drive. Oh,
yeah, a little mistake there. That's that hole coming out of the corner.
Almost threw him up a little over the bars there, but didn't lose much time. There's another one of those slit spots that Roxon just hit.
Yeah.
Here we come, up to the catapult. Yeah, Tomac taking advantage, getting right behind him. And now these hills, we've seen a lot of passing there today, so this is going to be interesting this next couple of sections here.
Marvin, that last lap, now we get that view over that jump in the background. Marvin King certainly gained about 10 bike lengths on that lap, so this is helping him. You're going to start sneaking in the frame pretty soon if these guys want to battle, but I don't think Ken is necessarily holding up Eli. It seems like when Eli gets there, he'll try something, little bobble, and then he loses those few bike lengths. But watch, you'll see Marv drop down. So he can see these guys. He wants to be a part of that battle for sure.
Is there a little sense of urgency, you think, Ryan, if you're Muscan seeing these 2 and thinking, man, I got to try to get to Eli before he passes Roxon? As long as they're battling, I'm good, but if he makes the move, I've got to hustle.
Oh, absolutely. I really believe right now Marvin's like, I need to get to them right now. No matter if Eli passes them or not, I need to. So, because, yeah, just like you said, if Eli gets around Ken and just wants to put in a run and everything goes smooth, then that's going to be hard to make up.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to be there. Yeah.
Eli usually tries to do that. If he takes the lead, he usually really tries to lay down the gauntlet, pull a few seconds so you can't see his lines of what he's doing, and then it usually breaks the rider's spirit anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so very critical juncture of the race right now. Roxon leading, Tomac second, Muscan third. Muscan has pulled away from Baggett. They were dicing for third about 3 laps ago, but now Baggett is about 5 seconds. Oh, and Marvin has gone down. Well, he had broken away from Baggett, but I'm sure he lost the position and maybe more here. Wow, so that's a shakeup.
Yep.
Guess what? We have a new points leader.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's how quickly
it's only
change.
a 3-point gap. Yeah, coming into this one. Well, maybe he recognized that he had to hustle in that juncture of the moto.
There's definitely that urgency. I mean, as a racer, whether you're winning or you're leading the championship points or not, you're pushing it. I mean, these guys are going so fast, and what you don't realize is how precise they're actually being, because they make it look easy. But of course, we're right on the edge of, like we seen Eli make that one mistake. All those little things, you know. So
I think this is also a track that lends itself that if you make a little mistake, it might not even be a mistake, but if the bike just moves unexpectedly, it can lead into big trouble, because with it being choppy in the way it is, I don't know, I feel like on this track, once it starts getting loose, it's really hard to almost bring it back. So we tend to see guys crashing at this track more than other tracks.
Yep.
Muscan picks it up in 4th, so Baggett did get by him. He's 14 seconds behind Baggett if he even wants to make a run for 3rd. So now Tomac and Roxon are free to battle each other halfway through this thing. 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. Easy place for me to remind you. You can save 15% or more on your insurance.
You've heard this one before, hey, Ryan? Haven't you once or twice?
Let me guess.
Yeah. We know you're watching out. So 15
you
minutes.
might need some insurance on that nice new boat of yours.
Yeah. Got to protect it.
Geico has that too, that boater's insurance. Oh, Roxon's going to need a little insurance after missing the line in the exit of that corner. Didn't lose too much ground, but Tomac is definitely there.
That's what you see
he's got it. Yep.
as the motos go on. Those lines start breaking, and then they reform again, and they break through, and they reform. So even though you can say, I want to take the inside at the bottom of the hill, sometimes the inside leads to the outside or vice versa.
Or we'll show you how Roczen got the lead. It's with our motorsport.com whole shot replay. Grant, take us through this one.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to see straight on from the front, but look at Roczen in the middle of your screen. Straight, good drive. Gets the inside. Marv was there. He banks off the cushion very close. Eli snuck through there, so all of our title contenders right near the front, staying out of that drama. And surprisingly, no one goes down the first turn. That might be a record.
Yeah, we saw it in the 250 class, and we've seen it year after year with the way that start works. Guys kind of bouncing off the outside. Everyone clean there, and Roczen still clean, stretching it back out to a 2.5 seconds on Tomac. So looking good here for the 94. All right, so halfway through second half of the race, we'll see if Roczen can hold on to his second straight race, and he's won a first moto. Not going to be easy with Tomac behind him, but so far so good for the Honda band.
Hey guys, this is Ken Roczen, and you're watching the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross on MAP TV.
So Roczen holding Tomac at bay as we jump uphill here at Millville. Ryan, you and many have commented this year we've seen some patience from Tomac. What do you think? He got to him pretty early, and we haven't really seen an honest pass attempt. So are we seeing a little of that? Is he just kind of waiting?
He's definitely not forcing the issue, that's for sure. I think he's trying, and he's using a lot of energy trying to get into the lead, but I don't think he's overly riding the track at all, actually. So I think he's just trying to be patient.
Yep.
Maybe strategically try to wear a guy down and keep pushing the pace up front, and sometimes you can wear a guy out doing that too, but it all depends on the scenario.
Well, the other benefit that he's got from now is he's got no pressure from behind. So sometimes sitting in this position is very comfortable, because if you know, hey, I'm going at 90%, I could pass this guy if I need to. A lot of times this is not taking a breather, but almost pacing yourself. I think it's like being a marathon runner. At some point of the race, you can't sprint the entire race, but at some point you get a good rhythm and you run at a good pace with someone, and you think, I'm going to save a little in the end and then launch an attack.
Oh, you got to feel it's coming at some point, but right now, Roczen weathering the storm. Really very few mistakes. 1.2 seconds is the gap between them as we are approaching the 20-minute mark, the 30-minute plus 2-lap race here.
I think this is one of those tracks too where you try too hard, you go slower. You know, like we saw where Marv lost the rear there. If you overly ride the track, reaches out and bites you too.
Tomac going to try to pick his spots, and Roczen's going to try to hold him off. The future stars of NASCAR are right here on MAV TV live. So be sure to check out MAVTV.com for airtimes, or we'll give you a little cheat sheet. We have a ARCA race coming up tonight at 9 p.m. The ARCA Racing Series Primera Plastics 200. Jim, Bob, and Kevin will be giving you the call from Berlin Raceway. So join us for that tonight on MAV TV. But do not turn MAV TV off right now, because we've got a heck of a battle for the lead. Here at Millville, Minnesota, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Ken Roczen on the red 94 leading Eli Tomac on the green number 1. And they've got lap traffic to deal with. This is going to be tough.
It almost looked to me, coming back from commercial break, that Tomac has decided he wants to make a run for it. Maybe he's tired of eating the roost, or he just feels like he can make the pass and leave. But he certainly put the pressure on. And then the other factor is this track is really difficult sometimes with lappers, because some of those turns, the lines funnel in, and if you get a guy at the wrong spot at the wrong time, really impedes your progress.
Oh, it does. You lose a lot of time in those scenarios.
See that little hook coming out of that corner. Those guys really trying to figure out how to get through that turn at the bottom of the hill. Because what happens, I think, a lot of times, you come down the hill and the guys leave the braking so late that they don't enter the berm. They sort of slam the berm, use the berm to slow the bike down. So you start getting this little hook in there, and then eventually gets broken through.
Good battle between these two, but more lap riders up in the distance. 3 of them in one corner. This is not going to be easy. Ooh. Roczen just able to get through there. Let's see how many of these riders he can clear. Yeah, I think you're right, Grant. I think Tomac's a little less patient than he was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, what do they say? Everyone has a little patience, and then eventually it runs out, right? There we go. See, Grant says, what did it say? Keep focused.
Oh, here we go. This is a really rough straightaway, and they're still working on the lappers, trying to get around Dylan Merriam here, and they've got it. Tomac is right there.
This is where Tomac's been strong. A little, not a bobble, but got held up coming out of the tunnel that buried the bike. But he's really good through here. This is where he's been getting close to Kenny. Right in this section. But he needed to be there, meaning 2 bike lanes closer before they entered it. Then he might see him try and run it up the inside into this turn.
Yeah, I don't really see a line that Eli could take that could actually gain an advantage at this point. It seems like all the lines you try different, you lose time. So yeah, he's definitely putting in an effort here.
Just real quick update, third. Actually, Baggett is further ahead of Marvin Musquin than he was when Musquin picked the bike up. It was a 14-second gap. Now it's 19. So Musquin might be stuck in 4th, pivotal as far as the championship is concerned. Even if it ended like this, Tomac would take the points lead by 1 point. If it ended this way, Tomac would like to gain 3 more by getting Roczen, but every time he appears to be in position to make it happen, Roczen's able to respond, and he's pulled back away by a few bike lengths again.
Kenny's trying some new lines now.
Yeah, opened up that corner there at the bottom of the hill, got a nice run at the triple, got around all the lap traffic, so weathering the storm a bit there, the 94.
Well, he's also, Ken's a very intelligent rider. I don't know if people give him credit for that, because he's not a all-out, smash the track, ride as hard as possible. And I think he's a good thinker. And where you see where he's strong is when they come to lap traffic, and this is something that riders don't talk a lot about, but anticipation. Like, where is he probably going to go? Kenny is really good at almost predicting where they're going to go, and he can kind of slice and dice and make adjustments to that. A lot of riders, they come herring up, and then they don't really have a plan. They just end up running up the back of the lapper.
Baggett is 10 seconds behind in 3rd. Then Musquin, Barsha is 5th. Pike, Nicoletti, and Webb, he has climbed to 8th. Henry Miller is 9th. And Cody Cooper is 10th as we keep focused on this battle for the lead. We're starting to get into the stretch run here. 23 minutes into this moto. So far, so good for Roczen.
Really impressed with Roczen, how he's been able to ride under pressure virtually this entire outdoor season. And Ryan, I think we all know, you try and not let it get in your head when the guys are you, but it does.
This didn't work. That outside line, he buried it in there. Let's see. He beats Tomac to the spot to block him. But Tomac, you know he's going to try to take advantage. Big run around the outside.
Wow, that lapper really got in the way.
Oh, it's going to make all the difference. And Tomac has taken it from Roczen. Yeah, they had to just pick your poison there. What was going to be the least bad line? It didn't work out for Roczen, so now Eli Tomac has the lead. And more lap traffic slowing up Roczen. This could be Tomac's chance to get away. So did you think the lap traffic was a factor there, Ryan?
Absolutely. Yeah, gosh.
There's DeMarco.
Yeah. Shoot, I mean, when it comes down to that, you never... I'm sure Ken's not happy, but hey.
Yep. Okay, so
I don't have to give you my opinion.
No,
you already know that one.
He's been very outspoken about this. So now it's up to Roczen to try to mount one heck of a charge to hang with Tomac now that he has the lead. He's not too far behind. We have 5 minutes and 2 laps to go here at Millville. Tomac out front for the first time. All right, really critical juncture now. Can Roczen stay with Tomac? Earlier in the year when they had these types of battles, as soon as Tomac made the pass, it was over. We'll see how much improvement Kenny has made since then. Go back to round 3, for example, in Colorado. They had some great races. Tomac able to get the better of him both times.
A little bubble there. Like Ryan was saying, you get on the gas and all of a sudden you light that rear up.
Here's that effort he's going to put in, try to stretch that gap.
Yeah,
and you can tell he's pushing it. Right
body
now.
language that you know this is qualifying laps coming up.
This is why you put in the work during the week to be able to turn it up when you want to.
Roczen playing a minute. This is going to be an interesting one. Hey, we're going to show you what it's like to ride here at Spring Creek. We got the Garmin course preview camera on top of Benny Bloss's from practice earlier. GL.
Yeah, we come out of the back of the Millville Woods, up the hill, drop down. You can see how much elevation there is to this track from this view. Then up Mount Martin. It's a lot steeper in person. Try and walk up there, get your heart rate going for sure. Little double, get it clean, and then everything you got to get over that triple. Another little double, and then sort of a step up to land right at the top here. And then this should be a great view coming back down. This is where, if you're really brave, release the brakes and make yourself a pass. Look how fast they're going. Hitting braking bumps at 50 miles an hour. That's cool.
Battle continues here up front. Eli Tomac trying to drop the hammer, as the riders like to say, and pull away from Ken Roczen. Still see the top of Roxon's helmet lurking a bit, but it's getting a little bit further into the distance than number 1. And it really came down to a square off through lap traffic a lap ago, right before they got to those woods, and that's what gave Tomac the edge.
Yeah, it was really sort of that opening that maybe he was waiting for. You can see the patience starting to run out, but like we were saying, you just hit the wrong guys at the wrong place on this track, and you could tell right when they got to that lap, but they didn't really have a choice, because it becomes one line that, look, I mean, Ryan, you know, the chicane right basically before the rollers, it's sort of everyone straight lines it as much as possible.
Yep, all the lines come together.
Roczen still digging back here in second, trying to show some fight late into this one. We're going to show you once again how Tomac got it, and Ryan, you can take us through the exchange here.
Yep, just like Grant said, everybody's lines coming. Eli tried a different line. Actually, it worked out for them because he got out of the lappers line. So Ken just was trying to be patient, waiting, and of course, yeah, you know what, you're losing time when that happens. But
couldn't wait that long.
I'm sure Eli was a little bit relieved there. Got it, you know.
Do you think that Eli was just trying that outside anyway, or was that because he might have realized that the lap rider was there?
Yeah, of course, the lap rider. He saw it, he lined it up, he said, I'm not taking the same line he's in. So that lap rate moving, I'm going to do something different. So.
Goes around him.
Yep.
Okay, so 2 minutes and 2 laps to go in this, 2.7 seconds to gap. Let's try to find third place. Blake Baggett, he's 12 seconds behind, so Roczen doesn't have to worry about him. But what's interesting is Musquin has not been able to make up ground on Baggett ever since the fall.
You know, when I look at the lap times, the intervals
Baggett
between each guy, it's been the same the last, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Yep.
So it's like that beginning of the race, that sprint. You got to go and go with them and then settle in the long haul. That's the way it was for me racing. You had to go from the get-go, and if you didn't, you're going to be behind.
Yeah, for sure.
There's Marvin digging, but you can see how much track he's going to have to make up. I mean, he is flying almost literally down that straightaway right now, but he still has almost 20 seconds to make up on Baggett to try to make a run for his third. So Baggett has ridden well. Baggett aiming for his third moto podium of the year. And this is not the way Marvin wanted it to go, coming in here with the points lead. That crash cost him a lot.
I was going to say, Marvin's picked himself off the ground in last place and got to a podium.
Yeah.
And then today, he started at front, and he's not going to be on the podium. So certainly not what he would have hoped for. I think Marvin sort of expects to get a podium when he goes out there. But just didn't work out from this moto. I mean, right now he's way off. He's like 35 seconds. But I think after he went down, I think the bike was a little bit bent, and I think it took the wind out of his sails. I mean, Baggett's riding a great pace. So for Marvin, he's kind of a little bit of no man's land. He's going to take this fourth with his tail between his legs, but move on. There's Bam Bam.
Yeah. It's ripping.
Yeah. Testing the valves on that Yamaha. See if they make sure they don't come to the top of the engine.
What have you seen from Barsha? Kind of a renaissance year for him, being back up front. It's been pretty solid.
It's actually been pretty cool to see. I felt like maybe there was a couple years I'm sure he wasn't happy with in the results, but you know, it's hard to come back from something like that mentally. But he did. It sounds like he reinvented what he wanted to do this off season, and he came out swinging for Supercross. And then he had a little injury there, but backed it up, came back, and been pretty competitive in this outdoor.
Oh, Weston! Nose pick right in the front wheel all the way over that jump.
The way that upper triple works, when you come down, it's like falling out of the sky a little bit. So when you case it, you don't have much forward drive. It's like you're going more up and down. So when you case it, like I said, it takes it out of you.
Look at Nicoletti going after Pipe. Former teammates there on Auto Trader Yoshimura Suzuki. Now Nicoletti on the Rockstar Husky. They've been close this entire moto. Phil tried to take advantage of the mistake. Pipe couldn't quite get there. But a good battle right now. This is 6th and 7th. Cooper Webb would be next in 8th place.
Well, the other thing that I noticed about a lap ago was Tomac. Tomac just passed the finish line only with about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And with the lap times they were doing, he came across the finish line just beating the clock, meaning it didn't run out, so they have 3 laps to go.
Cooper Webb is right there right now challenging Nicoletti. These two are pretty good friends off the track, doing a lot of riding together in North Carolina where they both live. But leave friendship aside right now, they're going to be battling for 7th place.
Racing's racing.
That's right. I think they both spent the off weekend at a wedding together hanging out as buddies. A lot different on this Saturday.
Yeah.
Cooper, pretty good charge here. Started this one about 12. All right, here we go to the Sand Rollers, GL. This is a good fight. That line didn't work out for Webb.
No, I still think at this moment, taking the main line is still the quickest. That may very well change for Moto 2, but getting back to what you're saying, good ride for Cooper. Came back, obviously, from injury. Realized he wasn't quite where he thought even he was, and a lot of times, unfortunately for us riders, we try and convince ourselves that we're fitter, stronger, better, and then you get that rude awakening. But certainly made some big gains in the last. For a guy like this, that weekend off certainly helps.
Yeah. And you just got to do it, right? I mean, coming from an injury when it's time, it's like, I mean, for me, even coming back in Supercross in 2012, I didn't want to go race the last few races because you weren't in the championship, but it's like you got to do it because that race fitness, you can't get that anywhere else.
So, and just that racing element of it, you know, it's something you can never replicate when you practice. You can try and race with your friends and simulate a start but it's fun. But it's not the same when you get to an actual race where it's all business.
Yeah, I talked to Cooper about it. He said he knew going into Southwick it was going to be a struggle. He wasn't ready to race, but he's like, I'm going to gain more racing than I would at home. But you have to be able to take the beating, get beat, and not let it get in your head. That's the hardest part about it. And I guess he's able to weather that. Because he knew he was going to get his doors blown off when he showed up down at 100%.
He sure picked a good one to go back.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But he's a tough kid. I mean, I've known him over the years, and he ain't afraid to turn down a challenge.
No, and he's got one right now.
Go after a challenge. I'm sorry, not turn.
Yeah, well, he didn't turn it down. He knew Southwick was going to be tough. He knows Nicoletti's not going to be easy to pass, but he's going to try it all the way on the inside of the course markers. This is a good little fight here. Nicoletti sideways through the ruts. Okay, they're not making it look pretty right now. They're just pushing as hard as they can.
This is like watching the sausage being made. It's not pretty, but man, the end result should be great.
Okay, yeah, who's going to get it? Another mistake as Webb messed up the entry in that corner. I think Phil's everywhere he wants to go. He can't quite do exactly what he wants. Meanwhile, Pike has broken away from them in 6th. Nicoletti and Webb, a good fight. Tomac has opened it up to 8.5 seconds on Roxon, so he's free and clear up front.
Saw Miller in 8th place.
Yeah.
Minnesota boy, that's awesome.
Yep, privateer, the Trigger Racing Yamaha, so that's cool. Through the Sam Whoops again we go. Webb trying to set up Nicoletti. Oh, lap rider down.
Is that Miller that's
sneaking up?
Yeah.
Might be. That would be the next position. So Miller, yeah, the guy born and bred, raised here in Minnesota, trying to get in the group. Nicoletti's still able to hold off Webb. You see Pike into the distance just a bit in 6th. Barsha picked Muscan 4th, Baggett 3rd.
There was actually 81, Marquia, who was behind the Husky there.
Yeah, it's this weekend, neon yellow plastics on Miller. Not the normal Yamaha colors for him. Want to do something special for the home race. White flag is out, so Eli Tomac, well, going to lose the points lead. Nothing better than getting it back one moto later. That's not a bad way to do it. Okay, so Tomac goes past the mechanics area. Had a long talk at the Monster Energy Kawasaki truck with Tomac, some of the team members, Bruce Sternstrom, the racing boss over there, and he said, look, I know you guys are going to talk about it this weekend, said Bruce, the boss, but we're moving on. Yeah, we're moving on. We're putting it behind us, and we're moving forward.
Yeah, for a rider, there's nothing worse than talking championship talk in the middle of a season. It's like, you know, of course, that's the end result. But it takes the shift. It takes the focus off of the day-to-day, the race-to-race, and you get so caught up in, you know, and ultimately as a racer, it's like, as what's showing, anything can happen. That's when, like, when people say, oh, you got it in the bag, it's like, no, it's not over till it's over, because it's not. And Yeah.
You probably hated him. Oh, I would say that to you. Well, I got a huge points lead, dude, because this is what can happen.
Gosh.
He had the lead in the race, too. He was doing everything he was supposed to do.
Yeah, just a freak deal.
Yep, and eventually had to push the bike. Showed some fitness when he dragged the bike off the track with the rear wheel locked up, and then the second moto had a bunch of crashes after a bad start and only ended up finishing 9th. Actually would have still had the points lead after Moto 1. It was that 9th that really did him in. Moto 2 had to stop in the mechanics area after the crashes. Get the front brake lever that they're working on there. So just a tough day at the office for Tomac, but way to bounce back here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. 2 weeks to think about that. I'm sure he was just like, let's just get to Millville already.
I think he was one of those guys that wasn't too stoked to know there was a weekend coming off. The
right.
First thing anyone in that position wants to do is go and, redeem yourself theoretically, and that he had another week to let it marinate. But, but maybe for the Cowie guys, it gave them a little extra time to figure out what this freak accident was.
And the fact to just calm down and not go after the next weekend and try too hard either.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good too, but hey, he's doing a really good job in this moto, of course.
Yeah, and he did ride pretty patiently too. He didn't go after Roczen immediately. He waited for his spot, and that's going to pay off, it appears, as he's headed to the checker flag. There's the team. They have righted the ship, getting the points lead back. Eli Tomac wins the first moto here at Millville. Kawasaki guys are happy there. Yep.
Business as usual.
Yeah, very good for them. And we'll see at the end of the day if the red plate ends up back in the bike. Marvin Musquin will have something to say about that in moto number 2. But Eli Tomac back on top here with his 10th moto win of the season.